James at 16 will not be presented this evening, but will return next week at its regular time. Stay tuned now for a special 2-hour What Really Happened to the Class of 65.
Word Balloon is brought to you by the League of Word Balloon Listeners.
Hi, I'm Alex Ross.
The two pieces are sort of a type. They're both kind of recreations of artwork that existed in the 90s. In fact, this piece here for the Avengers is in most ways a recreation or a tribute to George Perez's poster version from the mid-90s, where he did a shot that featured in it a figure of Captain America that was very similar to what I've done here, positioning of the Vision or positioning of Hawkeye, and I believe a few other elements are very similar to that piece, and it's consciously so. I was building off that inspiration, but I kind of refitted my design to fill out bigger shots of the figures so that I was making a wider composition and getting in a lot of the same characters, but still not quite as many as what George himself did, because George's thing was always to try and get in the maximum amount of content into pieces that he did.
Welcome back, everybody. Time again for Word Balloon, the comic book conversation show. John Suntress here. We have the Kill Your Darlings team, a brand new book from Image, coming out very soon. I will let the gentlemen introduce themselves because Bob has chosen not to include his last name.
Whoops.
That's fine, man. I just, I was told there'd be no math today. So, Bob, go ahead, start off. You're the artist on the book.
Yeah, hello, my name is Bob Quinn. You may know me from books such as Way of X, Knights of X, and a bunch of other stuff, but right now you should know me specifically for Kill Your Darlings, because it's the best.
Oh, yeah.
It is. Hi, I'm Griffin Sheridan. I am the co-writer of Kill Your Darlings and only Kill Your Darlings. Oh my god, it's our debut comic book, but you may know me and Ethan from around the internet for things like Ideas Don't Bleed, the podcast we do with Matthew Rosenberg, Stegman and His Amazing Friends, which we did with, you guessed it, Ryan Stegman. Donnie Cates is in there quite a bit, and our work with Brian Michael Bendis over at Jinx World. So, yeah.
Griffin, what do you do for, and sorry, Ethan, real fast, I want to know what Griffin does for Brian.
Well, Ethan and I are a two-man team taking on pretty much a large chunk of comic book Substacks. So we run Brian's Jinx World Substack, and so
great.
over there he's doing his online masterclass. He's doing a brand new volume of Fortune and Glory, his tell all about the Spider-Man musical, and a bunch of other cool stuff.
Yeah, and just to round it out, I'm Ethan S. Parker. I'm the co-podcaster, co-runner of all those things, and most importantly, co-writer of Kill Your Darlings.
Wow. Well, we are going to talk about Substack then.
Yeah, let's do it.
No, absolutely, man, because this is a great opportunity. And forgive me, guys, because I didn't realize, and I've heard both Matthew and Ryan's podcasts and everything for their Substacks.
That's
and
us.
That's great. Shame on me. Before Terrificon, and I think before San Diego, Stegman bugged me about coming on about his new book, and I got to get him. And they're all three of those guys. They're good friends of mine, and and you know how great those guys are and stuff. So,
Of course.
no, I'm due to talk to all three of them at some point. I think this month. So you guys are getting to jump on them. Talking.
Well, excited to. Yeah, that's
Listen,
also a great book. Yeah.
Brian and Matt, I don't know about that, but Ryan, we could jump ahead. We could cut the line.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's fine. Whatever.
In order of importance. I love it. What an honor.
We've been riding on his coattails so long that we're proud to just climb up them and then leapfrog over. Yeah.
That's the way to do it.
Well, here's the cover. Bob, is that your cover?
Yes, it is.
Mm-hmm.
Outstanding.
Now every cover is a giant wraparound, so you can actually open it up and see what's we use the back to great effect.
Yes,
Absolutely.
that was a really
And
important thing
Yeah.
for us. We wanted to do something really special with the covers, and Ethan and I came to Bob and our letterer designer John J. Hill, and we said we love a color block cover because they're so eye-catching, but we don't want to just explicitly do a color block. And it was John's idea to do a full wraparound each time, and then him and Bob worked it out, and they all look so beautiful. And I can't wait for people to see the full pieces of work for each issue.
Every issue's got a crazy widescreen, beautiful piece of art by Bob.
Yeah,
around it. And then every issue is also, speaking of Ryan Stegman, got a beautiful variant cover by Ryan Stegman each issue.
Great.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's cool. I remember, years ago when Oming and Bendis were doing Powers,
Mhm.
and the story got so long that they literally continued it to the back cover.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I remember Brian telling me that like readers are like, "Hey, what the hell?" And it's like, why is that a bad thing? It's like
Yeah.
story.
Yeah, no, you got to appreciate it. They're
Oh, yeah.
giving you the most they can. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Ridiculous. Well, all right. Either Griffin or Ethan or Bob, give me the 10-cent pitch on
Sure.
on the basics of the story.
Yeah, I'll give you the elevator pitch. Kill Your Darlings is about a little girl named Rose. She's 8 years old, and she is the most just charming, imaginative child you can imagine, where she comes home every day from school and she locks herself in a room and she plays pretend in this world of her own creation, and like I said, she's so creative, where she's just got character designs and maps and lore to this world. She's built it all up in her mind, and it's this beautiful thing for her. It's her ultimate comfort. But one day she comes home, closes that bedroom door, and finds that all of her imaginary friends have been horribly murdered, and she finds that something is very, very wrong with this world that she loves to role play as this warrior princess in. And there's a monster at the center of it, and it turns out that monster may be much more real than she would ever expect. And so it really starts to question, where's the line between fantasy and reality? What's happening that's real? What's in her head? And it kind of pulls her into this saga that's been going on for centuries before her own birth even, and it's going to span over the course of her lifetime.
Sounds good. I want to get next issue podcast has a couple comments, and first of all says hello.
What up, Danny?
And then
Hey,
says he wants Rose to run his next D&D game. Yeah,
Oh my
She would
God.
be excellent
Yeah.
for that.
absolutely.
She'd be the world's greatest 8-year-old dungeon master. Absolutely.
She would.
Now you'll forgive me. I can tell that my video is slightly out of sync of my audio, but
Oh, it's
so
all good.
if I look like I'm being dubbed, you'll understand.
Oh, it's not, no, it's all good.
All right, let's show a little bit of Bob's art. Because,
Please.
Boom. So there's
There it
Rose, and there's
comes.
her drawing and stuff. Bob is, I'm assuming obviously these are your crayon scratchings as well, or
Yeah, I am a
style
full
that you-
service
Go ahead.
artist. If you need it to be kind of garbagey, I can do it. If you want it to look kind of nice, I can do it. Just
it's
just
not
ask.
garbage.
And you...
No, it fits.
No,
It fits the story. This is great, and it's beautiful,
Absolutely.
man. No, you did a hell of a
Yeah.
job.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Absolutely.
The folks have seen a lot of this in preview pages, but there's gonna be little bits that are extra as well if we're scrolling through there. So yeah, some exclusives. Sneak
Oh.
We
Yeah.
speaking of Matthew Rosenberg, when we were talking to him about the script, we
Right.
had the pleasure of getting some feedback from him before Bob was doing pencils, and he was like, "You're gonna have Bob, an extremely talented artist, draw like child drawings, like just completely not use his skill."
And there's a
Interesting.
couple of full
Interesting.
pages of that as
Yeah,
well.
that was the best one. They were like, "How about we do splash pages of child's crayon drawings?" And I was like, "Yeah, let's do that." I was,
Yeah.
It sounded rad. I was like, "Nobody else is gonna do that. Let's do that."
Yeah.
Well, it's
I think
gonna be- go
I
ahead.
think- I think Matt's exact words were, "Isn't that kind of a fuck you to the audience?" But I
I was
don't know.
gonna
I
say
think it's
it.
cool.
At least that's 2 pages that Bob can click out pretty, or maybe I'm presuming wrong that'd be kind of fast for you to do, Bob. I don't know.
Let me tell you, they were a breeze those days. I really enjoyed it. We should bring them back in some of the later issues.
Sure. Fantastic.
Yeah, but they are. I mean, let me tell you, they're moody. They're spooky.
no,
he's not just he's not just having a fun time. They are really unsettling.
It's like seeing Red Room in The Shining, and you know,
Mhm.
Yes.
crawled on there, but
Exactly.
in the right, and forgive the tangent, but what I love about that movie at the beginning, when you
Mhm.
see these beautiful sprawling landscape shots from that aerial view, but you got
Mhm.
that foreboding, angry music,
Yes.
and it's like
Yeah.
it's chilling,
Mhm.
and it's like normally
Mhm.
this would be like a travel log moment, and it's just
Right.
so
Right.
pastoral and
Yeah.
and it's like no, foreboding, man, no, something bad.
Honestly, I mean that's kind of what we're aiming for with a lot of this book is just colliding a lot of stuff that should be really fun and exciting and at times even adorable with stuff that just
Mhm.
feels wrong. Like, and we want some scenes to also just be like, yeah, it gives you that feeling of like I don't even know why this feels like this. What am I feeling right
Mhm.
now? We're really trying to yank people around tonally with what they're feeling scene to scene.
100%.
More comments from the peanut gallery or Andrew Sweet
Yeah.
saying hello.
Oh, there he is, Andy. Hey, buddy.
Get out of
And,
here, Andy.
All right, now I'm very confused. I don't know what pumpkin time
Oh, Jesus. All right. There.
some chains for their very own chat.
We got some folks from KLC Press here. Kids Love Chains Press, so they're sharing the chains. It's support. We appreciate it.
Supples is in reference to a nickname that we have on the internet. Ethan and I collectively are the Supple Boys, which we were dubbed by Ryan Stegman.
I've been trying to rebrand them to
Supples.
Soft Gentlemen for years now, and it's just
Soft
not-
Gentlemen.
Yeah, but Supples,
it doesn't work. It doesn't stick.
yeah, it kind of much like what we were just describing. Supples is both at the same time, compliment and also a little creepy. All right,
I think that's why they remember it. If it turns your stomach a little, it's in your head forever.
And that's why they were such. It fits the book. That's it. They should have put
Fits
that
the
on the
book.
cover.
We knew
Absolutely.
exactly what we were going for. Having lived our lives as the Supple Boys, we completely understood the dichotomy of
I got to listen
that.
more to.
Yes.
I got to listen more to Stegman and Rosenberg's
Yeah.
podcast to get the Supples and everything.
Gotta
That's
catch
true.
up on the lore. Yeah.
Yes.
That's awesome. How many issues for Kill Your Darlings? What's the plan?
We're not saying exactly how many just yet, but it is a finite story. It has a beginning, a middle, and an end that has all been considered for a very long time now. In fact, we are right on top of making the ending. The penultimate issue is coming together as we speak, and then Ethan and I will go into writing the final one very, very soon. But it will be the perfect amount of Kill Your Darlings. I promise you.
The last issue, you're gonna be like, oh,
nice.
Okay, they knew exactly when to end it.
Get out of here, Andy. It's past your bedtime.
We can tell you it'll be less
your
than
bedtime. Yes.
I think
less
even
than
with
that.
Even with the number of issues, we're trying to keep as many surprises as we can, and so we're hoping that structurally we're keeping you on your toes about where this is going, how long we're going.
Yes.
But yeah, you're gonna love it. You're gonna have just the right amount of Kill Your Darling.
You're gonna get to the end of each issue. It'll be to be continued, and then it'll be concluded, and you'll go, oh, okay, perfect.
Yeah,
Great.
That's just
Let's
what I
do
want.
this.
That's cool. Phoenix says this is my No Way Home.
Oh my!
Oh wow! Which
see
one of
a lot
us
of
is Toby?
Oh, come on, we know.
Darsky Rossi on them is the stuff of legend. Okay, another connection. Very good. Another buddy.
Yeah.
Very good, man.
We've been lucky enough to have some wonderful pull quotes from a lot of wonderful creators, and Chip Zdarsky's was wonderfully complimenting of our book, but I believe it then ended with "fuck those guys."
Exactly.
Yes.
Now
We have
we all know
waged
Chip
a war
Bullshit.
on Chip. Yeah,
I understand.
for
No,
many years now.
That's good. He deserves it. Absolutely.
100%.
Good question. Good question from Pumpkin Time. You're doing my job for me, Pumpkin. What helped you both to learn to co-write and bounce off each other?
Oh God, this is the question.
Here we go, Ethan. Let's dive in.
Yeah.
So, Ethan and I have always had a love for storytelling, for writing, and for comics. Of course, that's what brought us together. We met over the internet at the age of 13 over our love for Spider-Man.
Wow.
And from there made the connection, and it just never quite went away. And then we started working together, and then the opportunity to make comics arose, and we said, well, let's do that together too. So we've known each other for almost a decade, and when it came time to write our first book, not only was it us learning how to write comics, period, like individually, but also how to write comics together. And
famously, duos fall out hard. It's not a thing that happens very often, a successful duo.
To the point that Donnie Cates, our friend and mentor, what's up, Zach, even told us on a call, he was like, get separate bank accounts. Just don't depend on it.
Sure.
So with that grain of salt, we started writing our first ever comic book together, and for a while it was going fine. And then once we got past issue 1, which had been in our brains for so long, it was so realized, and we started getting into the deeper depths of the book that we hadn't quite fully explored in like a fully written form yet. It was when we started running into some troubles as far as the co-writing goes. Ethan and I have very different, we have very similar instincts in terms of storytelling and what beats we like, what characters we like. But in terms of the actual writing, we just had 2 very different styles. And we started off by I would do a full pass, Ethan would do a full pass, and it would just feel like people putting coats of paint on top of other coats of paint, and then the color.
And we had heard co-writers say that they would do a half and half split, where you do that. One of them writes the first half, one of them writes the second, and we were like, absolutely not. There's no way. That sounds like a nightmare.
It just wasn't something we were into. But it got to the point where it started feeling like pulling teeth, and we knew that was bad. So we
I
had
referred
to do
the
big
process as going down into the mines. It was incredibly difficult.
Yeah,
Bob,
but
how did Bob? Oh, I'm sorry, Griffin. Finish your thought.
No, it's all right.
Okay. Well, yeah, good. Bob, I want to suck you in to the conversation more.
Oh yeah, no worries. I was gonna let them go.
Well, how did you get with these guys for this project? Or
they sent me an email and I said, "Let's do it." That's about it, really. Like, they'll tell you that there was an exhaustive search, that they sent hundreds of emails, and they're correct. But But I was out of all those people, I was the one that replied and was available.
I mean, yeah, Bob being, Bob is an incredible artist and has brought the series to life like beyond our imagination, and like and despite all of that, like despite us being so lucky to have him on the book, he's been the simplest, easiest part of the process, because we just met him and it was like, oh, there it is, our energy's right, he was passionate about the book, like, let's go. And then the whole time he's been so fast, so efficient, so like creative. And it wasn't until after getting him on that like our writing finally clicked into place. Like we finally were able to we had to figure out like how to co-write, and it didn't happen until after the book was already being made.
I put the screws to you because it was like, okay, he's going to be done in 2 weeks, and we got to have this thing finished.
Exactly. I think and not kill each other.
It took getting the artist in the picture, I think, absolutely, Ethan, for us to figure it out, because at the end of the day, a comic script specifically has like kind of 2 halves to it, where part of you is writing for the artist, and then the other part of you is writing for the reader. But mostly, like, there's the 2 parts of it, and that ended up being the perfect balance for Ethan and I, where I found that the stuff that we considered to be my strengths was more so writing to Bob and working to figure out what the visuals of each issue are, and Ethan's is the character stuff and the dialogue, so Ethan is writing more to the reader, and so it was the perfect split. And when Bob came into the picture and we started having to relearn everything again because there was now another mind in the process, everything just fell into place, and we have been totally on the same wavelength for
it's crazy how much it clicked. It's like now working on the book is a joy. Like it's been a 180, and it's really encouraging, like, because you should be able to make stuff with your friends, and so the idea that you can find an angle to the process where you kind of let each other do the stuff you like the most and you think are your strengths is great. I think we're all just jamming together on the things that we want to be doing, and it's all coming together so well. We're so proud of it.
Oh, yeah. I want to acknowledge some more comments from the chat.
Please.
Andrew Sweet says, Jackson Lansing and Colin Kelly have been doing great stuff together as a duo. Love what they're doing with Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah.
Erica as well. Star Trek. I completely agree. Next Issue Podcast says if you need advice, check in with Jackson and Colin. They've been co-writing for a while. Yeah,
we did get advice from them. They came on to Ideas Don't Bleed, and they were very willing to chat with us about co-writing. They were delightful, and they do the split script process, and it works beautifully for them. I don't know how they do it, but they're fantastic.
No, I've been talking to them as well, and loving what they're doing, especially on Star Trek. I think.
Oh, dude, the Star Trek book's so good. I love it. Yeah, absolutely.
Great stuff, man. Absolutely. Yes. All right, Zach. Again, we will reiterate for Zach. This is a mini series. You're not telling how many chapters, but
it is a mini. I think we are happy to say that it's a mini series. I do believe I said we were
not a tiny series.
We were almost done, I think I said. And Bob, those pages for issue 6 looked really good. So
yeah,
I think people can kind of go from there and how long it might be.
Figure it out.
Honestly, I am always interested with creator-owned books, what the right length is. And I remember having conversations like this with Nick Spencer years ago.
Yeah.
And also Mike Norton and Tim Seeley, where, you get to like 30 issues of like Morning Glories, for example. And it's like, there's always like new competition of new stuff.
Right.
And, if readers don't see a signpost that things are going to wrap up soon and stuff, they might get bored. So
definitely.
It's true.
Definitely. And it's also just, it's with the way that the churn of comics is at the moment, it's like, it's really cocky to even go in being like, all right, this is going for 50,
Let's go.
like you gotta have, your realistic expectations. And we knew from the start, like we wanted to tell a complete thing, and a thing that didn't go forever. It was a tight story that we could just tinker with until we had this solid foundation. So a perfect amount.
Perfect.
Next Issue Podcast says, I hope Image has another anniversary.
Yeah.
So get another celebration cover for the book. That'd be cool.
Yeah, we got to do a wonderful Walking Dead cover for issue 2.
Yeah,
for the 25th. Yeah, was it 20th or 25th?
20th.
Yeah.
Yep. Talk about like a checklist of things I did not expect to happen in the making of this book, and that is a Walking Dead crossover cover. Was not on my bingo card for our first comic book, but
absolutely,
it's a great cover. Bob painted it. John J. Hill designed a Walking Dead-esque logo for the book. It looks great. Check it out on issue 2 in October.
Definitely,
that's great. Yeah. So when first issue September
6th. Yeah,
nice.
That's right.
Is final order cutoff already happening, or
it's coming up?
2 weeks? 1 week?
August 14th. 10 days.
All right,
we'll hear the countdown happening right now.
Yeah. All right, jump on this. Let's
absolutely.
That would be great. Bob, tell me about some of the past books that you've drawn.
Oh man, let me see. I started out over at Dynamite. So I did King's Quest, which was a Flash Gordon book.
I know that book. Didn't Jeff Parker write that book?
No, he did King's. No, he just did Flash Gordon with Doc Shaner.
So who wrote King's Quest with you?
So that was Ben Acker and Heath Corson.
Oh, sure. Oh, I'm friends with Heath, and no, I love Acker and Blacker. They're great guys.
Yeah, Heath is wonderful. Acker's awesome. I've never met Blacker, but I hear he's a good guy too. Yeah.
Oh,
So I did that, and then I went on to Green Hornet Meets the Spirit with Fred Van Lente.
Nice. I must forgive me. I'm going to put the brakes on because
please.
I love both characters, and also I love Freddie. Freddie's one of my good friends in comics as well.
Yeah, and he's a great guy.
Wife as well.
No, I've never met her. I've actually never met. There's a ton of people I haven't met, but I can say that usually when people say like, "Hey, how should you script a comic?" I will usually say, "Look at how Fred does it," because his are always very easy to read. That's not to say anything for my lovely co-creators here. They do a lovely job.
We do ours backwards, so they're very difficult to read.
With Green Hornet Spirit, was it set in the 40s or was it modern day?
It was set in the 60s, I think.
Oh, so it's Van Williams' Green Hornet.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Did you look at the show and for Van Williams and Bruce Lee references and stuff?
Oh, I did indeed. It was I mean, they want you to get close but not too close, so then they don't have to owe anybody money.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so I kind of did the best I could, and I look back on it now, and it's like it's not bad, but I'm pretty green at that point. So what can you do? But yeah, that did Lone Ranger with Mark Russell.
Fun.
And then
I love Mark, another great guy.
Mark is amazing,
absolutely.
and that was that book still sticks out as like one of my favorites that I've ever done and I ever got to work on. Went from that to right around that time was when I started getting some Marvel work. So I did like a Halloween special for the Avengers. I did a little bit of Miss Marvel, did some Captain America, did Red Sonja with Mark Russell again. And then moved on to I did Champions with Eve Ewing.
Sure.
And then I think right around then is when I started getting work in the X office. So I did Knights of X with Teeny Howard and Way of X with Cy Spurrier.
Cy Spurrier. Teeny's another great person, and
absolutely
due for a new chat with Teeny. Absolutely, no, she's great.
And we, we're very tight with Donny Cates, and so we always talk about that. We were so thrilled by Bob's work when he popped by for Donnie's Thor.
Oh, that's right, yeah,
doing the Throg work. That was.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, absolutely. That was some of our favorite stuff.
Yeah.
Even just that brief glimpse of his Thor.
Yeah, no, it was immediate because Bob, you've only got a few pages to really show off in that issue, and your art is so expressive in it, and I think we knew that's what we wanted in the book immediately, and so that was excellent. And then of course Alligator Loki.
Oh yeah,
so cute.
Forgot about that.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah, that's coming soon to a trade paperback near you somewhere. I guess I don't know.
Oh, that's great. That's excellent. I just saw, speaking of Frog Thor, the Simonsons were at Terrificon, and I got to spend some nice time with them and everything. And
excellent.
they're
awesome.
They're lovely
Very
people.
cool.
Absolutely.
Very cool.
So,
God, they should, that for that trade for the Infinite Scroll thing, they should make the trade where you open it and it just folds out forever.
Dude,
cool and convenient, Ethan.
What they actually do is they give all the big long Infinite Scroll things to their design bullpen, and their design bullpen is like really good at pulling it apart and turning it into a workable comic. I was shocked when the pages came in. I was like, I don't know how they're gonna do it, but they're gonna try. And then I got it, and I was like, oh, this is actually excellent. This reads really good. I was super like, I had like 4 notes.
Andrew's already told his comic book store he works at to order him all the covers. So that's cool.
Very nice. Cool. Appreciate it.
I hope all the rest of the watchers are doing that as well.
Oh yeah, so it'd be very good of them to do, Bob.
Absolutely, yes, indeed. All right, Griffin and Ethan, tell me about Substack, because I think it's been a great boost to the people that were able to take advantage of it and then do some creator-owned books. And certainly everybody that we've mentioned in this conversation are all enjoying their own Substacks. So you said you're working for Brian, Ryan, and Matthew on their Substacks, correct?
Yes,
correct.
Any others,
just those 3 for now, and that keeps our plate pretty full.
Sure.
Between those and writing the book and now marketing the book is pretty much a job in and of itself. But Substack has been kind of a crazy venture, I think, for the creators that are directly involved, and then a couple of folks like ourselves that get to sort of come along for the ride, where we were, working with Ryan and, tangentially Donnie by doing the podcast with them for a while. And they both were talking about, the new book that they had coming, which ended up being Vanish. And Ryan was always talking about how, like, I want to do something where, like, we turn it into basically just an independent comics, basically an imprint. And so there came a point where they got on the phone with us to do a podcast, and they were like, guys, everything's about to change. And we were like, oh, okay. Can you elaborate? And they were like, no. And then 2 weeks before the Substacks all launched, Ryan came to Ethan, and I was like, okay, do you want to help? Like, this is what's happening. A bunch of comic creators are coming over to this platform, Substack, we've all been given cash to make comic books and just do it all on their platform. Do you want to come help us out over here and help us do it? And I mean, hearing the opportunity was just like, wow, this is I don't really know, there's nothing in our life, like Ethan and I's lifetime, to I think really compare to, because we're a little after the inception of Image, but it feels similar to that, where suddenly there's so much given to independent creators to just make the stuff they want to make. Yeah. And that was really, really exciting to be on the ground floor of, and to it took a little while to get our bearings and learn the platform and how to do that sort of thing on the platform, to share the right amount of stuff with folks as the books are being built.
Sure.
Right. And that was so exciting because that was our first step into the comics industry, because that became our job, like is working at KLC Press. And like, so even a couple of years before our book comes together, we were still in the process of trying to get it together, but it's like, oh, we're working on comic stuff. And we've been able to do that for a few years now, in the lead up to, you know, our big debut of our own.
Yeah. What's something that was so great about doing the podcast beforehand that has only, I think, been amplified by all the Substack stuff is Ethan and I love building a community around this stuff and just gathering the folks together and talking about it on a regular basis, and really building friendships over comic books. I believe I mentioned it earlier. Ethan and I became friends over comic books. I think plenty of people have done that. And over on Substack, we wanted to really utilize the ability to foster a community. And that's what we did with KLC Press. And when Bendis came asking for some help, we said, this is exactly what we want to do here as well. Of course, some folks will remember the old Bendis message boards. Ethan and I were not a part of that, but we heard about it. We said, we want to bring that back. We want that feeling to be there.
Legends.
Of course. So it's all been very exciting. And now it's come full circle because we're talking about Kill Your Darlings and teasing it and showing the behind the scenes stuff over on KLC Press on Substack. So that's
what Brian's doing is really cool and unique as well, because that's his is much more kind of education focused. He's a teacher and he's bringing his class to the Substack, and so like that's been really cool because we kind of get to moderate the class, and so we're there getting to soak up all of his wisdom and and helping put out his comic he's working on right now, Fortune and Glory the musical, where it's like that's such a like mind-blowing thing for us, because the Spider, like, you know, we came together over Spider-Man, and it's like we have a bootleg DVD of the Spider-Man musical. We want to know everything about it, and so it's like that's been kind of a dream. And then Matt Rosenberg was the last piece of the puzzle with Ideas Don't Bleed, of getting to do that show with him, which is honestly like a dream project, because it's just every week it's an incredible new creator that we get to talk to, and they've all been so gracious to us. And so all of this has been just the biggest, coolest crash course in the comics industry leading up to our own stuff. So it's been a dream scenario. The Substack stuff has been wonderful, and it's allowed the creators to do so much cool stuff, and we've been so grateful to be a part of it.
Bob, I don't know if you've done work for any Substack people, or even as an artist observing what's happening with Substack. Any thoughts?
I mean, I saw it and I thought it was definitely I think interesting was probably the first thing that I thought of. I was like, oh, okay, so they're gonna try to move some people, and I was like, is this gonna be like an entirely digital platform? And like, are people actually gonna end up putting books out? Like when I first thought, I was like, this could be something that could shake stuff up in a way that could be good, maybe, could be bad, maybe. And it's been like I said, it's been interesting to see sort of what people have done with it. You know, like either taking the educational route or you know, trying to make an imprint. Like Rosenberg's out here just putting 1 billion books out. Like it's really cool, and like everybody has definitely made it their own thing, right? Which has also been pretty cool. So.
No, I agree. And also even journalists that I know, Dan Rayfeld, a boxing journalist, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Christ, he was killing it with these great essays on the Hollywood Reporter, and then started his Substack, and we're still getting the essays. But in addition to that, man, it's great to see his recommended reading list and viewing list. And, you know, he's a massive comic book person, which has been so delightful to learn.
Yeah.
And especially a guy like me coming from sports radio. And it's like, you know, I mean, every now and then it's like, oh, there's another one of us. I had no idea.
Yeah, definitely. You know, it's such a weird, diverse platform. Yeah, there's so much going on, and like some of the best comics coming out right now are coming out on Substack. It's so strange. It's
really won the Eisner for public domain.
Yeah, and Brian K. Vaughan, like with Spectators, like just insane stuff. Yep. Yeah, absolutely.
Blue Book is
on KLC Press.
Finding and owning on Blue Book, absolutely. I agree with that.
So crazy times.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah, I like what. All right, Zach said. First he gave an RIP for the Jinx World message board, of course. He and I were veterans of that, but he's
There
pointed
you
out that the Discord.
Mhm.
Yes.
Brian is very active on his Discord.
The
I would
vibes are
imagine-
alive. Absolutely.
Yeah, and I would
Yeah.
imagine the others are as well if they have Discords for their stuff.
Yeah.
Matthew
There
and
is a
Matt Lyon.
KLC Press Discord.
That's right.
We've talked to Matt about doing an Ashcan Press one. I think it could be on the horizon at some point. There isn't one currently. I think he likes to keep the conversation sort of in the podcast, and folks can sort of join in the comments section there. But the Discords are great. Subscribe to Jinx World and KLC Press if you want to hop in on those and join the conversation.
Now I got to ask what this code is. Am I contributing?
it's just more chains from the
It's just
KLC
cool
Press
chains.
community.
Yes.
Yeah,
So-
it's a show of support.
Yeah.
There
All right.
is like we were talking about, the fostering a community, part of the KLC Press community. Basically the motto is chains in the chat, and then people will proceed to
It's
drop
like
the
a you
chains
go
emoji.
girl,
It's exactly like that. It's like a thumbs up, but chains.
Yeah,
I agree, Andy.
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
positive comments about the KLC Discord, so that's good to see.
Yeah,
very
definitely.
good.
They get to see some stuff first if you guys are interested in some little
That's
sneaky
true.
peeks. The Discord often gets stuff before Twitter or whatever,
Yeah.
X.
Bob drops in
Instagram.
there. Stegman
I
drops
was
in there.
about
Oh,
to
yeah.
ask
Never,
if,
you
Bob
never know.
drops in. Okay.
Mhm.
Tyrell Cannon, who is drawing
That's true.
another KLC Press titled The Schlub.
The schlub.
Tyrell's in there quite a bit. Which I Coin Pumpkin says he's got chains in the chat on the
Wow,
copyright.
big call. Big
Call.
call. You'll be hearing from our
Oh.
lawyers.
Wow.
That's Bob. Do you do any process stuff? Any video process stuff for any of this?
You know what? I do make them, but they usually ended up on my YouTube and stuff like that. So I
that's
haven't put
great.
any of it in the Discord or anything like that. But I probably should, honestly.
He's been
Sure.
coming on for some streams on KLC Press. He's been showing some work on. He did a stream where he showed the process of a page of Kill Your Darlings from issue 3, actually. So that was super in advance. And
Wow.
then he did a piece of Kill Your Darlings just for the stream, for another stream as well. And those were delightful. We want to get him doing more for sure.
Bob, what's your YouTube channel?
It is. I think it's just Robot JQ. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's it.
All right, I'm gonna put up. I'll make a banner here.
Oh, thank you.
Absolutely, man. Robot JQ.
Yep.
All right, I'll
Oh,
take
yeah.
care of that while we're
Yeah,
talking.
head on over there. I post a video twice every 3 years.
Oh, hell yeah.
It's
You're
a
gonna love
great
it.
turnout, man.
Yeah.
Great turn.
Bob, until lockdown, that was my whole thing as well. I rarely used it, and then COVID happened, and I'm like, all right, I'm still going to do audio interviews. I'm like, why don't I start doing video like on a regular basis?
Yeah.
And that's what I've been doing.
Here
And
we are.
truly,
Dude, your regularity blows my mind. I don't understand. It's
well,
crazy.
much like you guys, without the support of Substack,
Right.
I'm like, why can't I try and make this a full-time thing? I mean, I got
Yeah.
downsized out of my broadcast job with COVID.
Right.
And I mean, I'm trying to get other work, but in the meantime, if people want to support me through Patreon
Yeah.
or tips here at Word Balloon and stuff at the Word Balloon YouTube channel, that's great, and I appreciate it. And and if anything, God, I have the time. So I am very fortunate that so many people like yourselves are like, hey, can I come on?
Yeah.
And I don't do critiques. All I do is if I like the book, I'll have people on, and it
Yeah,
doesn't matter if it's a first time book or established vets or whatever. I mean, as long as I like the project, I'm cool with it. And
Yeah.
thankfully, I like Kill Your Darling. So,
Thanks, man.
Excellent.
that's
We're huge fans of the show, man. We're very.
that means a lot, man. Bob, one more time, the YouTube channel.
Robot JQ.
Thank you, because I'm
Yeah.
trying to type while we're talking.
Is that your handle everywhere? Is that your handle on?
No,
Blue
it is
Sky?
not my handle everywhere
All right.
because I am an idiot.
What is it? Like, I mean, obviously, robot
Robert,
from
yep.
Rob. Yeah.
And then my middle name is James and my last name is Quinn.
All right. Well, that makes sense.
Yep.
Good job,
Yeah,
Bob.
Real simple. Now, if you want to get real in the weeds, my Instagram handle is King of Smaster, which is a real weird one.
Why not?
Yeah.
You're king of marketing. King
Yeah.
of Bob.
King.
Branding.
I couldn't purely do Word Balloon because there's a K-pop artist internationally that uses Word Balloon.
Really?
Really?
Yeah. So
Wow.
that's why on Twitter I'm John Word Balloon. At least I got here first for YouTube.
Oh my god,
But yeah, it's weird, man. So
that's hilarious.
You
Do you
do
ever
the
get
best-
an army of angry K-pop stands in your mentions? When you post
Hey,
something?
you're not
Dude,
that
you don't-
guy. What
Yeah.
the
I don't
hell?
want that. They're terrifying.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Beware.
Yeah, it's
Sure.
it's a new music world for the old fart here. What can I say? I won't deny it. But yeah, it is. Man, I was in music radio for a good long time. In fact, Norton made fun of me because a couple of years ago at Wrigley Field, it was Fall Out Boy, Weezer, and Green Day.
Yeah.
And and Norton's like, "You're too old to be at this concert," and I'm like, "No, man, I was in the music business when Weezer and Green Day were brand new. So sorry, man. It kind of extended my my rock and roll life by about a decade and a half.
Absolutely.
Yeah, well into my 40s. I'm like, no, I know what's going on in music. Sorry. So yeah, it was funny.
Hell
Jesus.
yeah.
Well, this is
You know,
great.
I had a friend try to play me a 100 Gex song the other day, and I
Oh
felt
my.
so old.
Oh,
I have never
Bob.
felt older in my life. I was like, I know what the kids are listening to, and then he played this. I was like, I don't get it. I don't get any of it.
Oh, Bob, I can't watch the Grammys anymore or the MTV Awards because I'm just like, all right, man, I'll tell you guys, and I'm sure everyone else feels like, especially when you're in your 20s, you're like, oh no, I'll still be cool. I'll still be relevant with music. And then suddenly children are listening.
Who is Fred again?
And you're like, okay, I don't know what this is.
Yeah.
You guys go ahead and have your party. I guess I'll be over here with my oldies. All right, what are you going to do?
Yeah.
It's fair.
Sad,
I
but
can't
true.
wait to get there. I'm excited for it.
That's hilarious. That's excellent. You guys we were talking off the air. You guys will be in New York, right?
Yeah,
We will.
We're gonna have our own booth in Artist Alley in New York Comic Con. Absolutely, it's our first time.
Yes.
That's
We'll have some
great.
books to sell. You should come on by if you're
We
going to
should be
at the
doing a
con.
KLC press panel with Ryan Stegman as well, so people should be able
Mm.
to see us there. That'll be lots of fun.
Yes, bunch of fun
That's
stuff
great.
at
Will
New York
you-
this
all
year.
right, so yeah, that'll be obviously kind of like a live podcast for you guys.
Yeah,
Yeah.
basically. Yeah.
That's great.
We talking all about what's coming up on KLC Press, Ryan's new book, The Schlub, Kill Your Darlings, of course, and who knows, maybe we'll have some more to tease by that point.
Well,
Yeah, we should have all the lots of cool covers available for Kill Your Darlings at our booth too. We'll have some foils and stuff, which might be kind of hard to get your hands on, depending. So yeah, definitely come see us. Will
you be there, Bob, or are you going to any other shows?
I will not be. I'm way too busy right now. I'm penciling, inking, and coloring the book. So
Yes.
work-
That's the
Workhorse.
heavy lifting, man. I mean, that's
Yes.
truly, I certainly respect that, and it's it's easier to write a couple of guys say, oh man, I got 4 books happening right now from a
Yeah.
writing standpoint, and I know you're locked in. I mean, it takes a while, and also this first issue. How many pages for the first issue here?
it was like 1,000, if I remember correctly.
I think it was 1,004. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Check it
Yes. It's
No, what was it, like
26
20
pages.
26. Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you
Yeah.
sure?
It was 26, Bob.
And some of them are full color crayon pages, as we discussed. So
Yes,
some of them were a
Okay.
little like, yeah. No, we're. It's funny with an image book because you kind of have control over the length of things, and we're trying to be mindful of Bob's
yes.
Bob's
Absolutely.
workload. Absolutely.
He's
Andrew
the
wants to
triple
know-
threat, man.
Andrew
Definitely.
wants to know if I'm going to be at New York Comic Con. I'm not. Andrew, I got to be, and I'll tell all you guys. I got to be honest. I do find the New York show frustrating, and I'll even tell everyone some stories out of school. I don't know what happened, but all of a sudden there's a new person in charge of press credentials,
All
and
right.
they don't consider me press.
Oh,
I don't understand why. But as a consequence, I was able to get a pro badge, so that's fine. But also not having a press badge, it kind of boxes me out of all of the press junkets
Mhm.
that are at the convention because I don't have a press badge. And
That's
also,
so bizarre.
I thank you, man. I feel the same way. And also, they don't make it easy at New York because first of all, when they merged the comic show with the manga and anime show,
Right.
well, that was really stupid because they should have been separate shows. Because there are so many people that want to do anime and manga, and I don't mean that in any diminishing way to the manga anime fans, but it just made it that much more crowded. And now the press junkets happen at Madison Square Garden, which is a quarter mile away on foot, and that's fine. However, between going there and coming back and the couple hours there, it just takes you off the main floor. And it's so stupid. It's like those kind of things just annoy the hell out of me. And, you know, I'm lucky enough, having done Warpolo now for 18 years, I don't really need to do New York and San Diego like I did in the old days. Definitely. And it's like, you know, and I mean, honestly, God, I love San Diego, but I always call it really expensive summer camp. As you guys know, between hotel and flight and everything else, I mean, you're dropping a couple grand. And if
that's why what you do is you go stay down at San Ysidro right by the border, so then at night you can get like free drinks down in Tijuana. Ride the mechanical bull and gravely injure yourself.
Oh my God!
You're right.
Things that happened to me.
Stay in the surrounding burbs. Back in 2010, Hickman, Bendis, and the Immonents are like, well, if you're going to San Diego, can you do our panels? And I'm like, I guess I'm going to San Diego. So instead of like, you know, 8 guys to a room in right there in the Gaslamp district, I stayed in like one of the like, I don't think it was Chula Vista. I forget the town just outside of San Diego. That it was like 15 minutes by cab to the convention every day. But I was staying like at this cheap Motel 6 and everything, and totally going on a budget. And that's what I had to do. And thank God. I mean, I think that unfortunately the suburbs have caught on to that, and they can be as expensive now as the Omni or the Hyatt or whatever right there in the Gaslamp district. But what are you going to do?
So, I mean, I don't blame anybody for any reason of not getting out to these shows. I mean, we were you know, lucky enough to be there last year doing some work for Comic Sketch Art, and oh my God, one of the most draining weekends of my life, just swimming through crowds of people.
And I'll say here was the sort of fucked up thing about the reality of post-pandemic conventions, which was the first New York Comic Con we went to was 2021, the first year obviously that it was back from COVID, and they had cut the capacity, how many people they were selling, you know, tickets to and everything. They cut that in half. And so our first experience at New York was like, oh my God, this is like one of the biggest cons ever, and there's room to walk and breathe. I mean, you know, it's a little stressful because there's still a pandemic.
What's everybody complaining about? This is a delight.
This is awesome. And then 2022 happened. We were like, oh my fucking God, we can't move, please. Like,
you guys know the original Metropolis movie, Fritz Lang, the silent sci-fi movie.
Of course, yes.
When the workers are going to work and they're just shuffling and they're I remember going one direction and Dan DiNeo coming the other, and we're friends. And he had the most annoyed look on his face. And I'm like, it sucks, doesn't it, Dan? He's like, oh, the worst. This is terrible. And I'm like, yeah, man. So, no, I so get it. And then ironically, more people in San Diego, but it's a bigger facility, and you could breathe in San Diego. No, Javits, it is, again, you're on top of each other. And again, another reason not to go. As far as
Ethan and I look at each other at the end of we look at each other at the end of each New York Comic Con, running on a total of like 12 hours of sleep across 4 days, and we look at each other, we go, holy fuck. Anyway, we'll see you next year.
See you next year. Yeah, you're right. That's exactly right. Regardless, we will be on the grind again this year. We will be there. Come see us.
Zach wants to know if there's going to be a KLC tour in Michigan next year because many of the crew is in Michigan.
It's true.
Yeah. So Ryan Stegman is a Michigander as well as myself. I would say there's no plans for like a sort of formal KLC tour next year, but if you're into Kill Your Darlings, you should stay tuned. Maybe I will have some cool things coming up in the month of the release across the state of Michigan.
We're talking a lot about
check it out.
Getting around to many different places.
We want to bring folks into as many comic shops as possible.
Absolutely.
And we're going to use the book to do exactly that. So stay tuned. I think we will have a couple of things going on for folks that happen to live in the same states as us. We'll see.
That's excellent. Next issue wants a KLC.
Oh yeah. Well, Ethan and I have talked about this for the trade paperback drop because we can't get together, unfortunately, so close to New York. We got to save our pennies for October to go to New York, but maybe next summer when the trade paperback comes out, Ethan and I can rent a car and go up.
Yeah, we're talking about it. Yeah, we'll see.
I think that's great. Charles Soule and Ryan Brown.
Yeah.
Great Billion Genies.
Exactly.
And also Curse Words. I remember they did it for it and everything. So I think that's a great idea, and it's certainly the stores would appreciate it. And I'm sure you can map out a route and everything. How is the response from stores? And again, coming from the Substack world, but you guys have your contacts, and also through Ryan and Matthew and Donnie and people like that. But how has it been drumming up business in the direct market for this book?
Well, it's the first time we've ever had to do it. And there is a bit of a learning curve as far as what things are sort of provided to us and what things are we completely left up to our own devices to figure out.
Sure.
And so trying to figure all that out in the past couple months has been kind of a lot, but we are sort of in the thick of our marketing blitz
it's
right
like
now.
Picking up another job, because Image will take you part of the way, but then a lot of it is up to you. And so it's like okay, well, add another job to the list. We are now the promoters, and so we are sending mass, and I mean mass emails. We're trying to get in contact with as many shops as we can, and we've had some lovely shops getting back to us, telling us they're excited about the book. So far so good, man. Absolutely.
We got folks saying they're going to do cosplay, special event type things for the book. It's nice. All been
we've had a lot of really fantastic retailer variants as well. A lot of great artists out there just being excited about the visuals of the book and putting a lot of great stuff out. And that has been a really, really surreal and really cool experience. Just seeing these artists we don't even know lending their talents to the book. It's really, really incredible.
Yeah.
What part of the country are you in, Bob?
Minnesota.
Oh, very good.
Yeah.
Sure, good country.
We
Dan last weekend at Terrificon. One of my favorite people in the business. So
there you go.
Very
Kill Your Darlings crew is all over the place.
I'm in Arizona,
in the Southwest.
But a significant portion of the book was written from Alaska. That's where I was living a year ago, or over a year ago. So it's all over the map. But that's kind of part of why we're like, fuck it, we can get around all over the place to promote this thing. We're trying to make a lot of plans. Yeah.
I know Ethan, or I know Alaska's a big state, Ethan. Dave Harper, I'm assuming, up there, right?
I don't know him. We've had a bit of contact. But I would love to. Yeah.
I always say it and I mean it. I think Off Panel is one of the best podcasts out there.
Definitely.
I think he does fantastic interviews. The Sketch website and his output through Sketched is great. What part of Alaska did you live in?
Yeah, I had forgotten that he was from Alaska. That's wild. If only we had crossed paths back then. I was so I lived in Anchorage for a while, and then moved into Wasilla, which is 45 minutes away from there. So just in the center. But let me tell you, no good. I don't like it, and I'm glad that I'm not. I'm glad I'm not trying to hawk the book up there. It's a cool place for a visit and everything, but it's a tough live. I'm loving it here in Arizona, sure. And the shops here are so great. There's such a great ecosystem for comic stuff here, so definitely excited to get in there and see what's what.
Alaska also screws up your internal thermometer because I have a very good friend who lives in Homer, and he comes down to Seattle for Emerald City, and it is at his booth where the AC is blasting down on you, and he's like, "It's too hot in here."
No, it is. It does mess with you. I developed a condition where my toes go completely white and numb if I get too cold. And my fingers
got that Raynaud's, baby.
My hands have gone completely gray at one point from being too cold here.
Wow.
It is. It leaves its mark. Let me tell you.
Jesus, man.
Yeah.
Zach wants to know how shops can get a hold of you guys to try and get you to come out for signings and such.
Yeah. I mean, our our DMs are open. We've got our emails right in our bios and stuff.
Yeah.
Or you can hop in the comment section of any KLC Press post. There are a whole bunch of ways, but social media, feel free to reach out to us. Zach, I know you're in a Discord with us. If you have something specific, feel free to reach out, man.
Yeah.
I think
I'm at Tales to Astonish on Twitter, and my email's there in the bio. So yeah, please feel free to reach out. We'll do anything. We'll do absolutely
just
anything.
buy the book. Just do it.
Yeah, we'll dance on stage. We'll do literally anything.
Another really good podcast, and I don't know how much they do for independent stuff because they're big DC Marvel guys.
Sure.
But my buddy Sal Crivelli from Comics.
Yeah, we just did a show with Sal yesterday.
Oh,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
good. I'm so glad. I saw Sal say that he did a number of podcast interviews recently.
Yes,
and it's great to hear that you guys.
He was kind enough to fit us into the flurry. Yeah, we're doing the rounds this week, man. Let me tell you.
Yeah,
he's truly one of my favorite people.
Oh, he's the best
on YouTube and podcasting and stuff. And we're
wonderful.
We've become really nice friends, and that's great. Andrew wanted to know if I'll be doing another pod with Sal from Comic Pod. And thank you, man. He says that was one of his favorite interviews in recent times. Again, I love talking to Sal. I'm sure we'll find a reason before the end of the year to do another one. I am always up for talking to Sal Crivelli. He's like I said, he's one of my favorite people. So
we were talking about the woes of being at New York Comic Con, but one of the best parts, I think, for us is getting to see Sal. How briefly it may be, bumping into Sal on the floor.
Yeah, because every time we go, we're hustling, and and his crew are hustling. So we're always passing by, and we're like, "What's up? Bye. We gotta go."
Hey, man, hope you're having a good time. Maybe we'll get dinner.
But unlike me, man, a lot of times my neutral face, people are like, "Why are you mad?" And I'm like, I'm not mad. I'm just not.
I have resting bitch face real.
Yeah, there you go, man. Absolutely. But thankfully, Ethan, no, Sal is always in a good mood. If he's bummed about something, I have no idea because he's just always smiling and happy and stuff. He's a great guy. Too goddamn funny. Well, that's cool. Bob, were you in on that interview with Sal?
I'm in all the interviews if they allow me.
No, truly, I'm glad they're like, is it okay if Bob comes out? I'm like, of course it's okay if Bob comes out.
Yeah.
He's
the best. He's the best. He brings a delightful energy. No, we're trying to get on. We're getting everywhere we can. We're recording AIPT tomorrow. Very excited for that.
Yes.
Nice.
Yeah.
I mean, why can't we, to not have Bob on to talk about the project that, in your own words, sir, you're turning in the best pages of your career.
Absolutely.
Would be, I think, a crime. So I can't
deny it. Here. If you've ever liked anything I've ever drawn, I promise you will like this. I've never been more proud of anything I've ever drawn in my life.
And listen, maybe we've never written a comic book before, but we have put our absolute fucking hearts and souls into this. This is the hardest we have ever worked on anything in our entire lives. You're looking at draft 20 of this book, man. We are working.
That's great. And again, Bob does the heavy lifting. It is that initial looking at a page or a cover that you're like, oh, this is intriguing. So I think you picked a great partner. It's a great first issue. And and I'm glad you guys are making the podcast rounds beyond your own Substack podcast stuff.
Thank you. Yeah.
No, man. Honestly, I don't believe in competition. Fuck you, please. I know podcasts that get very territorial. I remember a guy was like, John Cassidy exclusively talks to me, and it's like, get over it.
Okay,
that is wild. That's crazy.
Wow.
And then I meet Cassidy. He's like, yeah, I'll talk to you, whatever. So like. However you live, sir, you other podcaster, that's fine.
Wow.
Well,
someone has said
we do have the exclusive rights to Ryan Stegman. That being said,
I respect
it. Someone should tap Scorsese and be like, the crime thriller that you love to do, that, but podcasting.
Okay.
I love that.
Yeah.
God, I would, man. Honestly, every interview he does. I'm right there. I'm an old movie freak like he is. And I love hearing his influences and stuff. But yeah, man, it's like, again, we're all just spreading the word. We're all doing our own thing.
Yeah,
I don't feel any negative competition or competition at all with Sal or Dave Harper or any of these other podcasts that we mentioned, and it's like, yeah, and I guess coming from radio and TV here in Chicago,
Right.
and spent 30 years doing it, we were friends with all of our competing channels.
Right.
And, I mean, management might have been shitty about it, but as far as like all of us, it's like, no, man, nice to meet you. It was so much fun too. I got to interview a couple of people like Peter Noon from Herman's Hermits, some of the bands from the 60s. And it's like, oh, is their first fierce competition? It's like, no, man, we were all like living this 60s rock and roll lifestyle. And isn't it great that we get to do our songs and, have these great opportunities and the people you meet? And I've yet to really see, they would invent these rivalries, the Beatles against the Dave Clark Five or the Beatles and the Stones. And it's like, well, nobody told the Beatles and the Stones because they're all friends.
Of course. Yeah, absolutely.
As it should be. And I know thankfully the comics community is the same way. So that's
definitely.
Cool.
Yeah, man.
That being said, Jackson Lansing, Colin Kelly were coming for you.
There's only one duo in
comics.
Only
one duo in comics. That's right.
Always room for more. Always room. All right, Zach made a comment, and I appreciate. What the fuck? I'm going to put it up there. Because Scott Hines on Fanboy Radio used to give Bendis shit about being on Word Balloon a lot. And
really? Wow.
And again,
dude, I love the Bendis tapes, man.
Incredible.
Thanks, absolutely.
Well, again, I being the solo host, and also being willing to talk to people when it's convenient for the guest. I could arrange these talks with Brian where it's midnight my time or even 1 a.m. my time. I don't care. And I'm a night owl. It doesn't bother me. Scott was locked in because he was on this Texas Christian University's radio station, the college radio station.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And he was locked in on Sunday nights at 6. And it's like, well, Brian's like, well, my kids are little and I'm that's 4:00 in the afternoon my time, and I'm having like parent activities with the kids.
Of course. Yeah.
So he couldn't be as available, and I'm like, we can record at any time. Scott's fine. I don't even know if he's doing Fanboy Radio anymore. That was goddamn. That was pre podcasting. He was doing it on this radio station in Texas. Like 4 years before I started Word Balloon. So I don't know.
Right. Wow. Anyway, I love so much that Brian can have like this like sub show on here because he's just like an endless wellspring of good stuff.
Oh
man. Yeah. He's the best.
Yeah. Well, and he considers when he's on my show, he considers it our show. And
that's
I'm like,
awesome.
that's fantastic. That is
that's
exactly
so
by all means feel that way. And no,
Definitely.
I honestly, guys, I've been very, very lucky that more people than not in the business do like talking to me, and it means a lot.
Oh yeah,
and I'm glad you guys hit me up for this opportunity.
Yeah, of course, you're the best. We're honored, man. Thank you so much
thank
for
you.
having us on.
Appreciate it.
I appreciate you're saying that, but as I told many at Terrificon, it's really oh my god, I can't believe I met you, and I'm like, aim higher. It is so easy to meet me. I'm like, it means, and truly, I'm always like, man, it means a lot. But seriously, man, you got Sean Gunn here from Guardians of the Galaxy. You got all the you got Anthony Michael Hall and the other guy from Weird Science. I'm like, be excited to meet them. They're cool. I'm like, I'm not, I'm like Philip Seymour Hoffman in Almost Famous. I'm not cool. I'm not cool. I'm always at home. Man. What are you talking about, man? So, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome.
Sad but true. All right, we'll wrap up. Kill Your Darlings, everybody. Coming from Image next month.
Yeah.
Still time to order it at your local shop.
Please,
absolutely worth the price of the ticket. Bob Quinn killing it on art, and
100%.
and Griffin Sheridan and Ethan Parker killing it on writing.
Thank
and
you so
well done, boys.
Appreciate it.
Thank you very
so
much. Really appreciate
Hope
it.
you guys enjoy it.
100%. There you go. Zach says thank you guys. I have the book on my pull list. Looking forward to it.
Nice.
Very good. So
Chains in the chat.
I'm gonna take tomorrow off, but Sunday a special podcast with Art Baltazar and Franco, and we're gonna have some Terrificon memories to discuss.
Great.
Among the people we met, Jerry O'Connell, everybody.
Oh, nice.
Hey.
Come on. And the beautiful Rebecca Romaine. Come on.
Oh, very cool.
All right.
Oh my God. They're married. I didn't know that. They're married.
Oh, no, that's crazy.
Oh.
And it was great. Jerry, and the only reason I bring it up is Rebecca had an autograph table. Here she is at her table. That's great. Jerry did not have a table on purpose and was such a good spouse. he's working the line as people are waiting for Rebecca, and like, hey, how you doing? I'm Jerry. You want to take a picture with me? Absolutely. Among the other things that he does, yeah. So it was really a fun show. It was great.
That's awesome, man.
So yeah, man, I can't help it. Mitch is my buddy, the Terrificon host, and I'm happy to promote it. Guys, thanks a lot. Everybody,
Thank you, John.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Great questions, everybody, and we'll talk to you next time. Until then, stay safe, stay happy, stay healthy.